Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Plasma products found at keshefoundation.org/store. Soothing, reusable plasma eye and migraine mask. Eliminate eye fatigue and relieve stress in eye area. European certified medical device. Massaging plasma insoles. Bring comfort back to your feet and energize your legs. European CE certified medical device. Antiseptic plasma liquid hand soap. Promotes well-being and relaxation with protective plasma formula. CE certified. One Soul Plasma T-shirt. GAN's formula within the symbols and stripes brings mind, soul, and body into balance. European certified. Pain Relief Pen. Emits a concentrated plasma field at point of pain, efficient up to 3 centimeters below the skin. CE certified. The Magrav's Energizer and Alkalizer raises pH and energizes water through magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Pain Relief Pad. A result of years of research in nanoplasma technology with magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Visit the online store at keshefoundation.org/store or find a distributor near you. Tax and shipping not included.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you're joining us. This is the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute's 27th Public Testimonial Meeting for Monday, February 11th, 2019. And welcome, everyone. Please bring your experiences in any language, and we'll find someone to translate if it's not English. And welcome, Rick, Pia, and Danny.
Yes, thank you, Flint.
Hello, good evening, good morning.
Hello, and thank you.
Okay, and how are we going to begin today? What do you have in mind, Flint?
What do you have in mind, Danny?
What do you have in mind,
What do you have in mind, Pia?
No, I'm sure we'll have some good testimonials today. It's always a slow start.
Yeah.
Well, that was our demonstration of almost instant communication there.
Yeah.
That's to begin.
Pia had a lovely testimonial last time, I remember.
What, that's about the car unit?
Yeah, that's a while ago, yeah. Does anyone else have anything any beautiful testimonial you'd like to share with us? Something about cars, about reactors, about health applications.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. This is Marius, yeah?
This is Marius from Romania, yes. And I would like to suggest if anybody has testimonials to share from agriculture side, that would be perfect and a great help for the Universal Council members that are collecting information in this area.
Yes, very good suggestion. Thank you, Marius. Do you have anything you'd like to share?
I personally don't have something to share in agriculture area. I was working on a video to show and to demonstrate the influence of CO2 gas, plasma fields on different pH waters. And after removing the gas and just keeping one of the waters, how that water influences at its stage other waters. So it's about 4-minute video. It's a time-lapse video, but I may save it for later if somebody else wants to step in and share some agriculture testimonial.
Okay, anyone with a testimonial about agriculture? Then again, it's winter where I am. Don't know about the rest.
Well, Mr. Keshe was talking about the ability to grow rice under snow, for example, or in cold conditions and other crops as well. And that seems to be one of the results of using, for example, the CO2 GANs and zinc oxide GANs in the process of growing the crops. They seem to be more resilient to snow. We've seen the Chinese cabbage as well growing right in the snow, where normally that would be dying off. So perhaps there's use for that. I'm sitting in a big snowstorm myself. I'm in Canada, and it's normally, there's snow normally in Canada, but the area I live in, there's not normally snow. And here it is, there's snow all over all the lawns and trees and other green things, and as well as the hummingbirds and other animals and so on have a hard time when they're not used to snow conditions. So perhaps there's someone that might have a testimonial in particular about the resilience of crops in the cold conditions. We have seen a couple of instances. There's one in Facebook I've seen recently. I don't have my finger on it right now, showing the tomatoes growing. It might have been in the same testimonial we had from about the cucumbers and tomatoes that was in the Plasma Times and as a Plasma Scientific Journal entry. And I just saw tomatoes on the tomato plants were basically, they looked pretty dead. There was snow in the ground, yet there was these huge tomatoes that they were still harvesting on the plants, and they commented about the extended growth of the due to the use of the GANS water and so on. I'll see if I can find that. It would be interesting to bring up. Anybody else with something along those lines?
Gives a whole new meaning to snow peas.
Yes, you could have snow cabbage and snow Brussels sprouts. And You could have a whole snow line of products, perhaps. Maybe the seeds could be pre-soaked or pre-treated somehow to be more, the plants end up being more resilient when you grow them. Special seeds for changing climates.
I think I would have one problem with that. Where will I get the snow?
You would import it from me. We've got plenty. We can send it.
That's a deal.
There's lots here in Florida. It's called water.
That's right. It's, we have this amazing transformational process that we can send it to you virtually anywhere in the planet.
Yeah, we can send it as water.
Zones. There's even some deserts that have been accidentally flooded recently. So there you go. I was thinking of that as an aside, just a few days ago, that when a snowflake, I mean, there's billions and billions of snowflakes created, of course, and what a temporary journey they have as they float down from the sky and then hit a warm surface, then that whole creative structure, that very delicate, basically nanostructure of that snowflake, each one individual and each one entirely unique, but they're all, in another way, all the same. They all have the same soul, you might say. And that soul is based on that hydrogen-oxygen combination that we know as water. So the snowflake comes down and hits on that warm surface, and its life is changed at that moment. It is no longer that structure, and it becomes, as we know, water. And then it transforms from water into vapor, and then it's in a whole other environment. So it had its own self-contained shape, much as we do when we come into this planet and are born as a unique individual. And then all of a sudden, at the end of this snowflake's life, it's melted and it's thinking, oh, I'm destroyed. But yet it isn't. It turns into a water drop. And not only that, but that water drop transforms into vapor and joins the greater body of water vapor. But even those vapors will retain the signature of that snowflake in some way. It'll have its, essence will be in that water vapor. So I was thinking of that whole progression and how the water is never destroyed. It's always recycled. And perhaps we should look at our own lives that way, in a way.
Okay, Rick, you convinced me. I'll buy a shovel of snow off you.
Right.
I'm completely confused now.
I'll start an auction, a snow auction. How would that be? You can have
please?
Snowball with as many flakes as you like.
Yeah. Can we please, anyone have a testimonial? Otherwise, I have to buy all the snow off Rick.
And I'll have to keep telling snow stories.
Yeah, snow stories.
Please stop me from talking. Help me.
I have a micro testimonial, but it is really micro. It's not a big thing. It's a very easy thing.
So that means it'll take you 3.2 seconds.
5 or 7 seconds.
Anything, Joseph, please.
Please let me prepare my photo.
Thank you. Are you going to talk about snowflakes too, or?
Yes, but it's really a little thing.
Keep saying little. I think that's a clue somehow.
They are
nano, maybe?
Snow generating machines for the ski tracks.
What's that about?
It's the easiest way to energize water. Now I have found the photo. I have it on full screen, but I have no share button.
Fix that for you.
That'll cost you 1 snowflake.
So thank you. Yes, now I'm starting the share. Yes. Here you see one GAN's bottle at the left, one GAN's bottle at the right. Let me draw on it. Here is the GAN's bottle of the left. Here's the bottle with GANs on the right. Both are connected to each other because you see at the left side it is a little greenish, but it's because the shadow of the photo. It's really a little bit greenish, but the right side, the other side also. And I put just a little bit of GANs in the right bottle and filled the left bottle up, in this case with CO2 zinc oxide, a mixture, and a little bit of COO in there. And I connected both bottles because it is a mixture of many please help me, Ernte.
Harvest.
Of many harvests of two of my boxes. And the water in the middle takes a half hour, 3/4 of an hour to get energized. It is measurable about over the pH level. And it's
sorry, how long did you say? I couldn't quite hear that.
Half an hour. In half an hour.
Half an hour, you can measure a pH change, you're saying?
Yes. And the pH change goes a little bit further about time. And it's not every time the same process. Sometimes it takes some minutes less, sometimes some minutes more. But it's the easiest way to energize. I assume maybe there is also a space gap occurring between the two GANs bottles. There is a massive energy flow because of the massive, because there is in the left bottle massively more GANs than in the right bottle. There is a really great field flow, and it takes to energize 0.2 liters of water, half an hour, 3/4 of an hour in this region.
You said the GANs containers were connected. How are they connected?
I gave from one, I've mixed a little bit from one bottle to the other bottle.
So, so there's no physical connection, no wire between them or anything?
Yes, there is no wire needed, only two bottles. I used only glass, but maybe it works also with plastic, but you have to consider the CH bond of the plastics. But I also don't know what is in the glass in there, but the fields are going through. I don't have to nano-coat anything with the glass. I just put it in the bottles, close them, and the right bottle with less GANs I filled up with distilled water. But I let in both bottles a high salt level in there.
So what is the ratio between left and right?
Let me get,
not very important. How exact? 1 to 3,
yes.
1 to 10.
1 to a third.
Okay.
1 to 3. It's approximately the ratio. And I also tried this with 30 milliliter bottles. These bottles where you see the GANs in there contain 300 milliliters of containment. And there are, I have little bottles with 30 milliliters containment, and 3 of them in one bottle 1 to 1, in the second bottle 1 to a third, and in the third bottle 1 to 2/3. And I put them in a 120-degree circle around a glass, and the water got also energized. And it's the easiest way with the 3 little bottles. Let me draw it because it's a little bit complicated to explain it. Let me choose another color. So we have here the bottle with the water. Here is the water in there. And then we have the 3 little bottles around it in a 120-degree shape. And in one bottle, it's, let me put it that way, 3 bottles, every bottle the same size. And one bottle has 1/3, the second bottle 2/3, and the third bottle is full. And between them, there is a field flow. Each of them are connected to each other. I should use another color, but I think everybody may understand why I'm drawing these 8s. And yes, it's the next way to energize water only with the field reactions. Because I had a woman that had a high blood pressure. And we tested Gans waters, only 1 drop in a 200 milliliter glass of water got her blood pressure high again, instant. And we didn't know what to do. Then the idea came that we only use the energies of the waters and not the distilled water, not the drops of the Gans water, only the fields. And with that, she could drink as many energized water she could. It was no problem again. The blood pressure stayed down and it was okay. The problem is not disappeared, but she could drink the energized water without triggering that problem. Yes, and that's all for today. Please ask your questions, and maybe some next one has the ability to show something.
When you say the water was energized, do you feel something from it, or is it the pH? Do you mean the pH has changed when you say energized?
The pH has changed, and it was a change of taste. But I can't explain this change of taste.
I was going to ask if you can describe it, but it's like,
yes,
yeah.
it's like the water got round again, if I can say it so. It's like the water got some feature that made it better, more drinkable. Yes.
What was the pH change?
It's not every time the same, but in between 0.7, 0.9 in 1.5 hours approximately. I haven't made test series. I wanted only to test once if I may measure something.
So it went from like a pH 6 to a 7 or 7 to 8 or what?
From 7.3 to 8.
Which is pretty significant.
Yeah, that is.
What would be really interesting to me would be if you had a closed container of water that was already sealed, and could then have a control one off to the side, let's say somewhere, and then have another sealed. It could be a sealed bottle, maybe of mineral water, or of even of distilled water, perhaps. But I was thinking of a smaller bottle, like a spring water or something like that. And if we could show that the influence could change the pH in a container that's already sealed, basically factory sealed, that would be a really major discovery, I think. So
that's really possible. There is no problem in between. You put the ganses around the bottle, and I don't know how much time it takes. And I don't know if you have a plastic bottle, which fields are going through and which fields the water can take out of the flow that goes through the water. Because the plastic may be a filter of it.
Good point, yes. Some waters might come in
nearly every material may be a filter, because you also don't know in cheap glass products what is mixed in the melting process of the glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's working. I really want to get some device where I can measure this field strength and that field strength went into the water. So I know which material is filtering what and some other things, but we have to wait for this measuring device.
Mm-hmm. Well, even with the pH test, that's very interesting. And like I say, if you could show that there was an actual, as much as a whole one number pH change, that would be really, really significant. It would, like I say, in a closed system, that you weren't adding the water to a glass or something else, but actually using a sealed system to start with. I'd love to see that test, and that would be a beautiful Plasma Scientific Journal test as well. If it could be duplicated by others and so on, I think that would be really significant. So keep that in mind. Put that up as a challenge to others. If you can show that a similar test with a change of pH, especially if it could be charted, so that you'd have pH test every minute or two, let's say, that or a constant pH meter that would constantly read the pH and have a chart generated, or some sort of indication of exactly how much the pH changes from minute to minute as the experiment goes on. Be a great way to do it. Of course, that gets intrusive, and the instrument may influence the experiment that way. Very good. Thank you for that. That was interesting. Anybody else have any questions or comments on that experiment? Okay.
Yeah, I thought, does the amount of water matter? If you had a 5-liter container sitting in between those things instead of just a little glass.
it should be tested. Maybe it takes only this hour or half an hour to energize the 5 or 25 liter container only with the mini bottles, with the 30 milliliter. It has to be tested. Because the field flow is instant. You put the ganses there, and there is a field flow growing, and it is instant, and it goes through the materials. The only thing is that materials may filter it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense, especially when you consider different types of glass will filter light differently, of course, and especially ultraviolet light. Certain lab glass, like the Pyrex lab glass, will allow UV light, I think is the way it goes, but regular glass, it tends to block the UV light, for example. That's ultraviolet for those that are wondering what UV is. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Shall we move along to the next thing?
Thanks, Joseph.
If there is nothing else to ask regarding this, I would like to translate for Mr. Adrian an experiment regarding Sabrina coils. It's an experiment with a medical device, and we have some results that we would like to share.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So if you allow Mr. Adrian to share the screen.
Yeah, you can share a screen anytime you want. Is it live video or not?
Picture, no, not video.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. But nu am permis încă.
Yes, if you allow just a few seconds to open the pictures.
Oh, okay, hold on.
You have the slide with Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
you
share.
can share now.
Okay, I share for you. You like stop your share, please?
No, go ahead. Don't need to stop.
Porniți așa, domnul Andrei.
Aceasta este poza unui dispozitiv pe care noi l-am construit în anul 2018, a fost gata în luna ianuarie.
So this is a picture of one of the devices we have built in 2018 in January.
Are la bază schema de construcție a dispozitivului Sabrina, descris foarte bine de către domnul Keshe.
It's based on the Sabrina schema that was very well described by Mr. Keshe.
Ce ne-am gândit noi înainte de a ne apuca de a-l construi, că ar fi foarte bine dacă am completa acest dispozitiv și cu o parte care să fie folosită la picioare.
We thought on developing this device by adding some
acest dispozitiv a fost conceput la început să fie independent partea de sus față de partea de jos.
The device was built and the concept was for the top part and the bottom part to be independent of each other, to be separate.
Aceasta este partea de sus a mâinilor.
This is the top view, and this is the part where you apply just the hand.
Aceasta este partea de jos dedicată picioarelor.
And this is the lower part for the.
Deci așa arăta. După ce l-am terminat, l-am testat noi întâi, câțiva dintre noi, la Keshe Foundation România, Centrul de Inovare din Bragadiru.
So after testing, or after this was tested by some of us in by Keshe Foundation Romania, the center from Bragadiru.
Aici suntem constructorii lui când testam și încercam să vedem ce simțim cu acest dispozitiv.
Here you are able to see one of the constructors of this device.
Măsuram câmpurile lui, am observat că față de un câmp în jurul lui, fără un om, care era un câmp modic detectat, în momentul în care un om se așeza la dispozitiv, câmpul creștea exponențial, ducându-se spre distanța de 1 metru.
By measuring the fields, there were just static fields with no person testing it or connected to the device, but after a person sitting there, the fields just expanded by a meter in all directions.
După ce am făcut noi experimente de casă, apropo de asta, pe bobine a fost folosit doar ganz de CO2 și ganz de zinc.
I must specify that the coils are CO2 GaNs coated and zinc coated.
Am plecat la niște principii care le-am înțeles, că dacă pe partea de sus la dispozitivul Sabrina trebuia să ai o procedură anume de a ține mâinile pe bobine, la partea de jos de la picioare ne-am gândit să folosim punctele reflexogene aflate în tălpile picioarelor.
We figured that if you had to use the top part for a certain kind of using them, the bottom part we thought we would better use it for the nerves in the feet, the reflex points.
După ce au fost testele făcute de noi întâi, l-am dat la o clinică medicală pentru testare.
So after we tested this device ourselves, then we gave it to a clinic for further testing.
Clinică la care a fost și domnul Keshe când a fost prezent la conferința din București și chiar a avut o discuție cu acel doctor care a testat acest dispozitiv.
The clinic was visited by Mr. Keshe when he came to Romania, and there was a discussion between Mr. Keshe and a doctor at that clinic at that time.
Acum, ce pot să vă spun despre acest dispozitiv până domnul doctor va scrie materialul pentru Plasma Times?
So what I can say for now, until the doctor finish writing the Plasma Times article.
Pe parcursul a un an de zile de testare, a reușit să vindece de complet 4 persoane, 4 fete.
Is that in 1 year of testing, it was able to cure 4 people of different diseases.
2 dintre fete au avut probleme foarte mari la nivelul brațelor și s-au făcut bine fără să mai aibă nicio problemă la ora actuală.
Two ladies had great problems in their arm areas.
Și două fete, celelalte două fete, care au avut probleme și la nivel de mâini și de picioare, în sensul că nu puteau merge cu picioarele întinse și mâinile nu puteau fi întinse, fiind o problemă din naștere la ambele, a fost vindecată complet.
The other two ladies had problems with both arms and legs. They had problems from their birth. They could not keep their feet and arms straight as a regular person. They were not able to walk as we do correctly, and they were cured, and now they are walking and keeping the hands and feet in a position as a regular person does.
Îndreptarea membrelor nu s-a făcut progresiv, ci dintr-o dată, la câteva luni după ce au folosit acest aparat.
The straightening of the arms and legs was done progressively after a while by using this device after a few months.
Între timp ne-am apucat să dezvoltăm acest dispozitiv. Avem în lucru acum două dispozitive care vor lucra cu un convertor plasmatic care va folosi frecvențele de funcționare ale corpului.
Now we are developing two other devices and we want to attach the converter that uses the frequency of the body. Și
o să venim cu rezultate în curând și despre acest ultim dispozitiv, care este deja de o săptămână aflat în testare și o să vă povestim despre el când avem ceva rezultate.
Soon we will come with some new results regarding these devices when we will collect some results, of course.
Atât am vrut să vă spun și să vă aduc și vă știință acest lucru, că noi am ajuns la o concluzie. Această știință, dacă o abordez corect, dacă o analizez corect, dacă o implementez corect, rezultatele sunt fabuloase. Mulțumesc mult!
This is what we wanted to present and we reached some conclusions that if you understand and if you apply correctly this technology, the results are fantastic. And thank you very much for listening. And of course, if there are any questions.
Just a reminder that in the Keshe Foundation, we don't use the word cure because that is a key word that that starts lawsuits and other such things with medical profession. So we usually say the word process, to process, or sometimes use treat, to treat an illness or process an illness rather than cure. As soon as you say that word cure, that's the word that sparks off the authorities, and you're not allowed by law to say that you can cure a disease. Otherwise, it's just not allowed to. We're not allowed to use the word cure for diseases and so on. So, just to clarify that, better to find a different word.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Rick. Indeed.
Ce vreau să mai adaug și îmi cer scuze, că în cabinetul în care este folosit sunt păstrate pe timp de iarnă o serie de plante, un lămâic și un mandarin, care în mod normal iarna nu aveau frunze pe ele și de când dispozitivul este în acel cabinet, plantele se comportă ca și vara.
O secundă să și traduc. So what I would like to add is in winter time this device is kept in some place where there are plants. There's a lemon there, there's a mandarin there, and the condition is great for those plants. Dacă puteți repeta un pic, domnul Adrian, cred că am omis ceva.
Și de când acest dispozitiv se află în acel cabinet, plantele au frunze pe ele și flori ca și bara.
So since the device is in that cabinet, in that room, the lemon and the mandarin has leaves and fruits like in summertime.
Mulțumesc, atât am avut de spus. Dacă nu mai sunt întrebări, opresc share-ul și o să revin cu primele informații atunci când le primim și noi înapoi de la clinica respectivă.
Thank you very much. And if there are no questions, I will stop the sharing and I will be back with new information when we will gather the new experiments and the new devices.
I was wondering about the red button. Is that a light or a button on the front there?
Domnul Adrian întreabă Rick dacă...
Este o lampă cu LED, are doar capișonul roșu, este LED și este de 0,5W. Pentru pornirea inițială, dispozitivul având alte două intrări care nu se văd, în care sarcina este ajustabilă până la nivelul de 10W.
Deci care este valoarea inițială? 5W?
Nu, 0,5W este acea lampă LED care este acolo, dar care are doar capișonul roșu. Este o lampă LED de 0,5W și dispozitivul mai are două intrări, una sus, una jos, pentru ajustarea puterii până la nivelul de 10W.
Ok, să încerc să traduc. So these are two LED lamps. Just the cap is red. And there are two more entries for adjustable power. So these, at this point, there are 0.5 watts, but they can be adjusted to... cât a spus domnul Adrian? Valoarea maximă?
10W.
Cât?
10W. 10.
10 watts. 10 watts, the maximum. Scuze că și de un pic întrerupt.
10 watts, at what voltage would that be? You mentioned half a volt before. Did you mean half a watt?
Half a watt, yes. My mistake, sorry.
And what voltage would it run at? Is it high voltage, like, or is it low voltage?
Tensiunea pe dispozitiv este de 220 de volți, dar sunt măsuri de separare galvanică și de păstrare a izolației la pământ.
Și cum să traduc asta?
Deci tensiunea folosită este de 220 de volți.
The voltage we use is 220 volts.
Cu separare galvanică, cu transformator.
With galvanic separation by a transformer.
Păstrând conexiunea la pământ, care este absolut vitală în funcționarea dispozitivului.
And we keep the ground connection.
Da, și astfel încât omul să nu fie pentru el un dispozitiv periculos în a se curenta.
So the device is not a dangerous it's not a dangerous one for the person who use it for him to get shocked or electroshocked.
So to be clear, there's 220 volts at those nano-coated coils at the top there?
It's just the entry in the device, but let me get that clear. Domnul Adrian, deci a întrebat Rick dacă pe bobine avem 220 de volți.
Da, avem 220 de volți, dar sunt separate galvanic față de pământ, astfel încât omul să nu se curente.
Yeah. So yes, basically we have 220 volts on the coils, but they are separated galvanically, so and connected to the ground, so the person are not electroshocked. But yes, basically there are 220 volts on the coils.
a trebuit să luăm această măsură, fiind o cerință care trebuie aplicată la toate dispozitivele medicale.
We applied this measure because of a request that was made for all medical devices.
Este un lucru trecut în legislația românească.
This is one thing mentioned in the Romanian law.
Ok, dacă nu mai sunt întrebări, o să revin în perioada următoare și cu alte precizări despre noul tip de dispozitiv care a derivat din acesta.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I will be back with news about these devices we are building and the new device, a new Sabrina device.
Thank you for all.
Hi. If you change the angle between two coils, what's happened? You are measure what is the difference?
Marius, tradum, că n-am înțeles. Mai bine spune în română.
Da, zi, Dane, în română, că încerc eu să...
Dacă mută unghiul între cele două bobine, gravitațional magneticul, dacă modifică unghiul, vede diferența asta ca întrebare.
So Dan asked if we adjust the angle between the gravitational coil and the magnetic coil, for both of them, if there is any change in the measurements.
În primă fază am încercat anul trecut să respectăm blueprint-ul acestui dispozitiv, completându-l doar cu partea de picioare, așa cum am văzut-o grupul românesc.
So when we build this device, we try to keep the schema for this device.
Noul dispozitiv este deplasabil în orice unghi, atât pe verticală cât și pe orizontală.
The new device will be able to adjust this horizontally and vertically.
Și se poate folosi orice combinație de bobină în contact cu punctele reflexogene aflate în mâini și în picioare.
And you will be able to make any combinations and to make contact with the reflex points on the hands and feet.
Dar ca să putem să vorbim despre el, așteptăm rezultatele echipei medicale care să vină cu rezultate, să vină cu cazuistică, ca să fie totul ok.
Till then, we are not able to discuss about that device until we don't have any results from the medical team.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I would like to share something if there are no more questions about Mr. Adrian's device. And as I
Beautiful. Thank you, Adrian.
As I mentioned in the beginning of this session, I made some tests with water and pH levels. And if I may share my screen, it's a short video, but I will make it even shorter if we don't have the time. But there is no soundtrack, so don't worry, it's safe.
Time shouldn't be a problem. Go ahead.
Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
So as you see in this first frame of the video, I have prepared 6 little glasses of water with different pHs. I have Kangen water ionizer and device that allows me to obtain different pHs for water. So I will start playing, and I'm using this tent for photographers to make semi-professional videos or photos. And the first phase is to put all these small glasses around the CO2 gas jar, and to demonstrate how in time, of course, the pH of the water is influenced by the fields, and it gets balanced until some point. Of course, acidic water takes more time to get alkalized, but from my, and, by the way, short parenthesis, if you see this, I will play it again for a bit. You see, this is playing in circles in here. It's spinning. I don't know why, but it's strange because when I mixed the not sure how is it called in English. The litmus, I think this is the word. I mixed it in the other area, in the magnetical sense, and that was spinning the other way. So for me, pH testing is done with litmus. I don't have a pH meter to test the exact values of the water, but what I have noticed is it easily to increase the pH from 6.0 to 8.4, 0.5, and to decrease from 9.5 to 8.5. So that was the first phase. I kept just the tap water. As you see in this image, in this glass, it was initially about 7.2 pH. It was influenced by the fields of CO2 gas, and I put just new glasses in the left and the right with fresh water and different pHs. I tried an acidic one and a more alkaline one, and to show that even then the glass in the middle influences the left and the right side glasses. And this can continue even further. You can just pick the right side glass and put another two glasses of different waters, and you will see that in time they will be the same. The first part of the experiment, the one with the jar in the middle, took about 12 hours. And when I removed the jar and the rest of the glasses, and after placing these two glasses here, it took another 12 hours. So I think results are pretty noticeable. If I is the end of the video, but if I place it here, the cursor, I think you can see the difference in the color. And what I noticed is for more acidic water, like 2.5 pH, it takes more time. I tried the experiment for more than 3 days, and the raise of the pH was very slow. But getting lower from 11.5 was a bit faster than 3 days. And eventually but in about 24 to maybe 36 hours, this glacier will turn exactly like the ones in the right. But it takes a bit more time. So a conclusion for this, for me at least, is that water in a certain range of pH can be influenced very, very fast and noticeable. I tried with mineral water with pH about 5.5, and in a half of day it was like alkaline water with bubbles. Not with snowflakes, but with bubbles. Yeah, so this is one of my materials I'm working on in the last period. If you have any questions, or I don't know.
What did you have how do you know that the water won't just change on its own without being beside the CO2? Did you have a control of some sort or some way to test it, whether the pH of the 9.5 would go down on its own after 3 days?
When I first time bought the Kangen water device, I had a borrowed pH meter, so I was able to see there then the values. So I have the control to output any pH of water I want. If I'm allowed to share some images of how the device looks.
Yeah, I'm aware that you can control it when it comes out, but does it stay at that pH for 3 days on its own? Did you test that, or just under the influence of the CO2 GANs fields?
The company of this device, the company that built this device, ensures that the water keeps its properties for about 3 days. Afterwards, it loses its properties. I did not test this with any device or measurement device. I just tested with the plasma water. But of course, it's a good idea, and I'm looking forward to buy some measuring devices like a pH meter or a P meter and a TDS meter, because of course there was a great change in the ORP values as well. In the area where I live, the tap water has about between 400 and 600 with the plus the ORP value. So it's very oxidative water. So if you want to make it anti-oxidative, you must get it through this device, right, at the output of it. But what I have noticed is the tap water that was in the fields of CO2 GANs dropped the value from 400 and so to about 137. So that was at the point when I have borrowed that measurement device. But again, I'm looking forward on buying my own ones and make more tests.
Yes, you've got a great photography set up there now. It takes the camera and the pictures are nice and clear, and that's a great setup. So it'd be good to take advantage of that with some more measurements. Yeah, great.
Thank you. And I assure you more materials will come in time. This one is maybe a fast experiment because we are preparing ourselves to present these simple experiments for different institutes that are very reluctant in what concerns the plasma technologies. And we want
Exactly. This is a beautiful format, and it's so simple. It really focuses your attention on the exact experiment and so on. It's a nice way to present, I think, to the public or to a government and that sort of thing.
Of course.
Sometimes they may not be willing to sit down to watch a video, but your setup here, you can take slides out of the video or whatever you want and make a little PDF out of it or some sort of document. So that's really nice.
Yes, thank you. And of course, the smallest experiments are the most, attractive for people and make them want to know more. Because this is apart from the totality. This is what we are able to see with the naked eye, right? It's a change of pH. We put the litmus in there and you get some nice colors. But there are some more things that we cannot measure. We are not able to measure with the device that we have at this point. But I'm pretty sure there are more. There is more to this. This is what we are trying to achieve when we present these materials to different institutes, because at how Mr. Keshe likes to say, we do this in our kitchen, so we are housewives, right? We are doing this at an amateur level, but who knows what proficient devices institutes may have and they might discover.
And besides, the housewives are the scientists of the future too. So
of course,
this is the way it's going.
Yes, it seems like this. Yes. So if there are no more questions, I would thank you for your attention, and I would like to pass the microphone to somebody else. Thank you very much.
All right, and thank you very much. Okay, do we have someone else that would like to present something at this point in time? Preferably something along the agricultural lines, as we mentioned before, but perhaps something else comes to mind.
You might have to start talking about snowflakes again.
Snowflakes. Well, let me expound. I could send a picture of snowflakes right now, live, real time.
Please, anyone, quick. Or anything else if we don't have agriculture.
There's in the Keshe Foundation Testimonials, there's a couple of new entries, I think, since last time. I don't think I could actually show the pictures maybe here. show the site. Let me see. Okay, so this is the Keshe Foundation Testimonials webpage at testimonials.keshefoundation.org. And there's one on the creation of GANs CH3 that just shows an experiment that he's doing. There's also one called Soin de mon doigt. I'm not sure how to pronounce that in French. Doigt. Care of my finger. And from Hadil. And let me get the picture up here so you can see it better. So he got his finger crushed in the door of his car. And you can see the finger has a big bruise, blister kind of thing on it there. And he treated it with some CO2 GANs with amino acids. And it started healing quite rapidly. And I think after, how long does it say? 4 days, he says. So it went from this, which is a pretty severe kind of blood blister kind of thing, I think they call it. And then he treated it with the CO2 GANs water. It looks like there's bluish CuO GANs, but if you look at the picture, it's got a blue tinge to it. Everything is blue in the picture, so I think it's just some residue CO2 GANs water on there. And you can see it's starting to heal rather well after, this would be, I guess, after a couple of days. And after 4 days, it's virtually healed. So that was Hadil's story, one of his stories. He also had an energy contribution as well, where he mentions that his Magrav made a savings of 40 to 45%. And thanks to Mr. Keshe and the Keshe Foundation. Okay, so those are the updates on the testimonial site. And I invite people, if they have a testimonial, you can use the submit a testimonial form up in the upper right hand corner of the website, and it'll give you the form. You can fill in your name and email and so on to send in your testimonial. And it's best if you have the pictures or video in a separate site and just give the link to the site in your testimonial. And that way we can sort it out and get the pictures up. And also the people that do submit to the testimonials, it's good to keep in mind that you might like to make it into a Plasma Scientific Journal entry as well. That would be preferable, actually, for people to start thinking in those terms, to think more scientifically, I guess you could say, and create the scientific journal entries so that we can have a database of all the experiments that people are doing and add on to them and so on. And the Plasma Scientific Journal entries go into the Plasma Times, and the last Plasma Times had four different plasma scientific journal entries in it. I'll remind people that the February Plasma Times is available as well on the KesheFoundation.org website. On the front of the page there, you'll see the Plasma Times pictures. Okay, anybody else with something they'd like to present or show and tell here? We have a hand up with Gunther.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
A very small one, smaller than Joseph's one, also from Austria. It's not exactly a GANS test. It's a sleeping test I made. I bought after Christmas. I bought a big cow leather without hairs on it, made very soft, and I cut it out 4 pieces, 2 sheets for the bed. It's 1 meter 80 to 90, and 2 pieces for the, how do you say, Kopfkissen, Danny? Pillow.
Pillow, yes.
Yeah, and I remember that Mr. Keshe said one time, or 1 or 2 years ago, that it would be nice to test how to sleep in the leather sheets, like the American Indians do in their tents. And so I bought them here from the Gerberei. It's those who make those leathers. And I made now 4 weeks the tests, and it was very funny. At first I had to wash those leather because they have especially I think it's a chemical inside for that softness, and I had to wash it out, and I had to dry that leather in the dryer, and then I used it as a bed sheet, and I made a lot of sleep tests. And funny was that the first 3 weeks my pulse went up. So before I get to bed in those 2 leather sheets, I mentioned that the pulse is going up. So I thought always, oh, why? When I go into bed, nothing happens, but here, when I go into the leather, there is a field in it, and maybe it's the cow, it's the fields in the leather. So after 3 weeks, the fields are gone more and more. And what was funny is that the sleep is not very deep. The sleep in that leather is totally different than the sleep in the bed. It's a lighter sleep. It's maybe a more intensive sleep. And between 45 and 55 minutes, I woke up and I was very fit, as I slept 4 or 5 hours. And what also was funny, when I was under that leather, so the whole body and also the head is under the leather, I hear my heart pulse very strong. I never had heard my heart pulse in a normal bed, but in that leather, you hear the pulse very intensive. And I made also tests with a pulsometer and with blood pressure, and it looks like that the blood pressure is a little bit above. And after 3-4 weeks, it's stabilized. It's, what do you say, stabilized in a normal area. But to have this leather for how do you say, to be fitter the day long, it can help you to sleep intenser, shorter, and better. And it feels like you are in a own hull. You're in a whole in a own environment in that leather. And it's very interesting for me. It's very funny, and I love it, and I will never give it back. This is a very short information now for the first tests I made, and I keep on testing it and make my notes, and will you inform later on. Thanks a lot.
Don't you fall asleep now, Günther, on that pillow. Thanks for sharing. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, keep us up to date, please.
Yes, of course. But it takes to find out what is the deep secrets in this leather. It takes a lot of months, maybe some years, to find out exactly what gives it to your soul and to your body, and what happens with your ganses in your body in these fields, like a second womb, as you was a baby before born. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone questions or comments to Günther's testimonial? Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Rick, were you going to share something with us?
Well, I was just going to point out this is the table of contents in the latest Plasma Times, the February edition. And if you look down on page 24, there's a Plasma Scientific Journal entry, and 4 of them in a row there, actually. We've got the Universe in a Bottle, Cola Bottle Plasma Reactor. We've got the effect of CH3CO2, potassium and magnesium ganses and amino acids on cucumber and tomato. We have a visual confirmation of a natural dynamic field flow in ganses. Actually, I could show them. Oops, I just go back and re-upload this. Okay. Smaller. So anyway, you get the idea there, and there's a 4th one of processing the seed of the foot dipping FD condition in coma, which is a pretty hard title to get your head around, but when you get into it, it's from Giovanni, and it's about the how he treated Naomi's foot condition of had a crystallized blockage there, and was able to through the flow of fields able to dissipate it, which is pretty amazing. So all of those, this is a great one as well with.
And at the bottom under the foot one is the testimonial for the month.
Oh, okay. I was just going to show this rather long, sophisticated Plasma Scientific Journal entry from Joel Ricard, showing the flow of ganses and how they have attraction and repulsion characteristics and so on, all timed and properly documented. And you were mentioning below all this, and is this the one that you're...
Yeah, that's the one right there.
Talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Plasma.
Well,
Testimonial.
it's a 2-page title.
Okay, I'm not able to reduce my picture here for some reason.
I got it ready here. Yeah, I got it ready here.
Okay, that's better, thanks. Plasma culture, right. Testimonial.
Mm-hmm. You can read it if you want.
Okay, sure. Since I'm already reading it. It says, in most plants, I noticed a greater retention of moisture in the substrate compared with no GANs. The quality of the plant, the two apparently equal. The only disease or pest affecting all plants was one of small flies, which were located in the substrate. Apparently did not attack the plant, probably by the amount of soil moisture. The other comparison is more flavor, aroma, especially strawberries. In plant size, maybe a little bigger exposed to the CO2. On the other hand, some of the pots have 3 rings with GANs, one in the water tank at the bottom, another ring on the potting soil, and another half of them buried in the ground. The intention was to create a favorable environment within these rings. Other pots, the largest tomato, have GANs rings placed in different position. In the image of the elongated container with 2 interlocking rings placed on the earth, a curious thing happened. I do not know whether or not GANs or due to the lack of light. They gave me a purple basil, planted there and put the GANs. The next day it was no longer purple. I finished the harvest, may have more photos. Now I'm doing other experiments. Gradually we'll upload everything I've done so far. Okay.
Just to look at the pictures here.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
You can see the GANs rings that he's talking about, like around that plant on the upper left there.
Mm-hmm. And he's got them overlapping here.
It's interesting, the one on the lower left there with the GANs ring and the root structure. It's kind of a good way to see how the rings might interact with the root structure through the clear plastic container. Fun to see more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. lots of information in this Plasma Times. I think it has 48 pages of information.
Yeah. So be sure to get it. It's on keshefoundation.org front page.
Yeah, you can download the PDF and then put it in a reader as Flint is done here is the best way to present it.
Yeah, this is in Acrobat Pro, but Acrobat Reader is very similar. And then, yeah, just go to keshefoundation.org. Right here, just click on it. Brings you right to the spot here where you can download.
Right. I always
and these here you just right click and save link as, because if you just click on them they'll open up in the browser.
And eventually open in the browser.
Mm-hmm.
Yours goes pretty quick.
Yeah, I got high-speed internet. Yeah, so if you want to save it, just you can open it and then just click this little down arrow thing right here and save it right there. But you can certainly right-click also.
And don't click on the picture of it because you won't get anywhere with it. I have many times.
Yeah.
Maybe it should open to HTML when you click on the picture or something, but that would probably be too complicated.
They don't have it in HTML format just yet.
Right, yeah, it's too difficult to transfer over.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
I see Jalal has his hand up. Is that in relation to what we're showing, Jalal? Or?
Hi everyone, good evening. I would
Hello.
like to share with you.
Jalal.
You brought up this plasma with the plants. I would like to share with you 1 minute video.
Yeah.
Can you allow me?
Maybe. It'll cost you.
I will give out.
We're paying in snowflakes today.
First is always free.
Oh, okay. You should be able to there, Jalal. We can't hear you if you're talking.
Why don't you tell me? For half an hour I'm talking.
Yeah. It's mental telepathy practice.
Okay. This one I showed it before in early 2018 and how big it was. I brought this one to end 2017 about December. It was a gift from the company. It was very small. Normally it goes for 24, 26 centimeter. But with the plasma, it's grown up very, very beautifully and very good. And until June, July, it throw all the leaves of it, but still alive until about December. She went growing again, and this 1 minute will show you what happened here. grown about 90 centimeters, and still the flower didn't open. So I think it will go more than 1 meter until it will flourish. And this is using only the plasma water.
Is this an amaryllis?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really tall amaryllis.
Yeah. And normally it goes 24 to 26 centimeter.
Yeah. Gonna need to put it in a bigger pot.
Yeah, I will do that.
The pot is tiny. Yeah, it's amazing.
Poor thing is root bound.
Give it another year and she'll talk.
Yeah, the amaryllis, if that ever blooms, that's gonna be really pretty.
And this
They only bloom once a year.
And this is growing once a year, yes. But this is for the second year. And don't listen to the background. It's Mahnas speaking.
You might have to, because those leaves and stalks are really fragile. You might have to put a stick in there for support, or how would you support that from not breaking?
You know what? The right side, it's not broken, but goes to the little bit down. But the left side, it is stand like this. It captured itself with. I put it near the window, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he's put a little support stick in there to the right.
For the leaf, yeah.
This is from beginning, you know. From the beginning, I brought it. This stick was wooden, so I didn't take it out. It was very big.
Well, amaryllis like light, and there's no window there, so it's trying to grow up to reach the window.
So I put it. This is a special place that I can.
Yeah.
Photo it.
It's learning to elevate itself. That's all.
Yeah, no? My beauty.
Let's see what happens if you start growing those fly traps, Jalal. They'll be turning into monsters.
I showed it to my colleagues in the company. They didn't believe it. What? All ours is already dead for 2 years now. Since after 1 month or maximum 2 months, they dead. I said no. With our knowledge, they will not be dead. So we will see. Next testimonial, we'll bring it up. We'll see how it will be.
Thank you for sharing, Jalal.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That's quite amazing.
So I will have 500 now?
Yep.
500 back. Thank you, man.
Beautiful. Anyone else like to share with us? Or shall we call it a day and share? Next month, that would be March. Would you
March
have
is
a day for us?
March is when the amaryllis is supposed to bloom, usually around March. And in the Victorian language of flowers, amaryllis means pride, or whatever use that knowledge will do for you. I'm just looking.
Excellent. So we see Jalal and Amaryllis in March.
He's proud of his amaryllis, I would say, rightfully so.
Yeah.
She proud of me.
Yeah.
There you go.
That she's showing her love, you know.
Well, it certainly is a she, because the name Amaryllis also means naked lady.
Oh my God.
Yeah, or also called the resurrection lily. The naked lady comes from the plant's pattern of flowering when the foliage has died down. And also described as ready to bloom for the holidays. So there you go.
Did they write about how big it's going?
I don't see anything particularly in the Wikipedia. Oh, it does mention something here. It has several strap-shaped green leaves, 30 to 50 centimeters long, 2 to 3 centimeters broad, arranged in 2 rows. So it says up to, and each ball produces 1 or 2 leafless stems, 30 to 60 centimeters tall. And okay, then the flowers are on top of that, can be 6 to 10 centimeters. So yours is approximately double the normal, at least 2 to 3 times bigger than normal. It's 200 to 300% bigger, basically.
Yeah, I see. This is the plasma.
That's normal for plasma.
It is.
Okay, is there anything else to present, or should we wrap things up as was suggested here?
Maybe we could announce that the next testimonial meeting is, I think it's March 11, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Second Monday of the month. And hopefully we have plenty more testimonials from you guys. Bring your flowers, bring your experiments.
Bring your snowflakes.
Exactly.
Or your sunshine.
Bring the shovel. Yeah, you bring the sunshine. Rub it in. The sun cream. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone. This has been the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute's 27th Public Testimonial Meeting on Monday, February 11th, 2019. Thanks all for joining, and thank you for your testimonials. And have a good rest of your day, afternoon, or evening. See you next month, March 11th, same time, same place.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate.
Plasma products found at keshefoundation.org/store. Soothing, reusable plasma eye and migraine mask. Eliminate eye fatigue and relieve stress in eye area. European certified medical device. Massaging plasma insoles. Bring comfort back to your feet and energize your legs. European CE certified medical device. Antiseptic plasma liquid hand soap. Promotes well-being and relaxation with protective plasma formula. CE certified. One Soul Plasma T-shirt. GAN's formula within the symbols and stripes brings mind, soul, and body into balance. European certified. Pain relief pen. Emits a concentrated plasma field at point of pain, efficient up to 3 centimeters below the skin. CE certified. The Magrav's Energizer and Alkalizer raises pH and energizes water through magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Pain Relief Pad, a result of years of research in nanoplasma technology with magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Visit the online store at keshefoundation.org/store or find a distributor near you. Tax and shipping not included.